So, how about this? I am not going to mess this one up just to fuck with Rafiq. My name is Allan Dempsey.
And I am Rafiq Shaheen, and with us, our guest today, he's a feature act here in Tampa. He's the leader of the Tampa Bay Kickball League, and a very talented gentleman.
CAREY.
Woo! Yeah, we actually did one right for once.
Well, I don't even know what right means in the context of this podcast.
It sounds right.
I mean,
Seems
we said,
right.
look, I said words, and they came out, and they were intelligible.
It's a big improvement for you.
Oh, cutting deep, Shane. All right, jump into it. It's on you, Rafiq.
Okay. So, Hugh, we are so happy to have you here. There is something I have been dying to ask you about for as long as I've known you, because I have never really understood it, but I know that you and Shelly are both big into it, and I would love for somebody who's in that lifestyle to explain.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right. I do not understand astrology at all, because to me, right, every time I talk to somebody about astrology, they always go like the very basic, like, these are signs, these are stars, these are moon phases, and I go like, that's great, but like, why don't the ones from India count, or like the Japanese ones, or like the ones from Africa?
Because they're not white, right?
Right.
I mean, that's obvious.
I mean,
that's all that matters these days in America.
It's just a bummer that people like us sometimes have to explain to.
I mean, you'd think you'd pick up what we've been putting it down now for like 400 years. No, yeah, I mean, that's a valid question. I am by no means an expert in astrology. I am very intrigued by it. I used to be very involved in the pagan and metaphysical community here in Florida. I had two businesses that surrounded selling those products. But as far as me being an authoritative figure when it comes to astrology, I can't get into the depths of it. But what I can say is all of it does count. I think what most people don't understand is with astrology right now, it's just Western tropical zodiac that kind of has taken over. So it's like it's colonized astrology. So there is Egyptian astrology. There is Vedic astrology.
What the hell is Vedic?
Hindu. So if
I've never heard that word before.
Like
Ayurveda. I mean, it doesn't.
We are above a kava shop. I would assume the sounds of ridiculousness would permeate above at some point.
You know, I mean, belonging to the better, it's something I wouldn't normally come across.
It's white girl astrology is what pretty much runs the world right now. Basic bitch astrology.
Okay.
So, can you write a book called Basic Bitch Astrology?
If you Googled it now, I'm probably going to say 99% chance for sure there's at least 7 titles currently existing on Amazon.
It's not separate books. It's a series. It's like the Babysitter's Club.
Yeah.
So like Basic Bitch Astrology, number 1, number 2.
Yeah, and they're just different colors of pink.
Yes.
Right. That's all they are.
And only the truly devout can tell the difference between.
Right. I'm more of a dark pink basic bitch.
Oh, sure.
I'm further along in the series. It's about as pink as my asshole. So
Whoa!
That's how far you go.
Hey. Woo!
That's how you know you've made it. You've been initiated.
Okay.
So how did you get into it? Like, what started off with it?
It's actually a really interesting story. So the path that took me down into the weird amalgamation of shit that I've been involved in since like my early 20s was I used to work at Chase Bank, actually right down here on 4th Street.
Same here. So I worked for Washington Mutual before
I did
they
too. I worked for WAMU. I was working for WAMU before Chase came in.
There's so much evil in this room. There's metaphysiology. There's astrology.
Oh, I haven't even rolled my eyes in the back of my head.
Yeah, there's banking. There's paganism. It's just
you don't understand. This is how we form the triangle of the Illuminati.
Right.
I actually have a diesel truck. I'm going to roll some coal in here just to really make it a cherry on top of the cake here.
Good.
Fuck the planet. So I was working at Washington Mutual Bank, ironically at the time before they got shut down. I was actually there the day that the 2008 crisis happened. Ooh. The FDIC actually came in and told us, you got to go home. We're afraid that if people find out that the bank is failing, they're going to come and take all their money out. Anyways, as I was working,
what was were you just bank teller, no power guy, or were you up in the,
Yeah, so being gay, you can only be a gay bank teller. They don't let gay people do anything important other than just like stand there and hand out money. I don't know if you guys know that.
I thought he was one of us.
Yeah, no, basic bitch fag right here. So I was working there as the premier bank teller at WAMU. And there was a lady that would come in every week and she had these checks. And on the check, it would say, thank you so much for the reading. And after a while, ironically, she lived like 2 doors down from the bank. It was on 4th Street next to CVS.
Like at the same shopping plaza?
Yeah, she literally lived like right next door. So she would come in and eventually I was, kind of curious. I'm like, hey, what does it mean? Like, what do you do for a living? Because in the notes, it would just say, thanks for the reading. And she goes, oh, I'm a psychic and I'm a medium and I do tarot readings. And I'm like, okay. Somebody's buying into your bullshit. And I'm just like, all right. So she would come in, but she was like making bank. So I don't know if she was pulling like a...
I like how your interest was purely mercenary. I wasn't really interested in it on a metaphysical. I just wanted that money.
Listen, bitch was bringing in some cash. She knew what the fuck she was doing. Even if she was full of shit, she was good enough to convince people that she was banking.
Here's my question, though, in that regard. If she's making bank... I understand coming in to make deposits, but if she ever asked to check her balance, obviously she's not that good.
Oh, that's a good point.
There's a difference between being a medium and a psychic in and of itself.
Stupid. How do you not know that? Fuck.
Also, she never did check her balance.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but... I should have put her to the test, right? I should have really been like, you got an NSF right now. You don't have enough funds or something. I don't know. It would have been interesting to see.
So what takes you from she's making money to let me give this a shot?
So I was like, all right, I'm an atheist, whatever. I'm not going to buy into no bullshit, but I'm like curious. So she came in one time and I said, how do I get one of these readings? She goes, okay, well, this is how it works. She said, I'll give you my phone number. You call me. And it was her cell phone, not one of those 900 charge by the minute things, not no Miss Cleo scam, although they probably were making bank.
Oh, yeah. She, before she went away, she was like a multi-millionaire.
Yeah. She was from New Jersey, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Not even from Jamaica.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
not
awesome.
a real Jamaican shaman, the tarot shamans of Jamaica that have made their way around the world. So I was like, all right, I want to do a reading. And she says, all right, here's my phone number. Call me. But before you call me, I want you to write down 10 questions you're wanting answers to. And what she does is she does a tarot reading first, and then she does a channeling. And a channeling is when somebody supposedly speaks to someone that is no longer alive. So I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. I know some dead people, and I wanted to know how valid was this. So I wrote down 10 questions. And another thing is if she didn't answer the 10 questions that you had that you wanted to know answers for in the reading, you didn't have to pay her. I'm like, well, that's a fair shake, right? I'm not going to lose anything by just doing this. So I did it. I called her. Bitch blew my mind, and I'm like, all right. I mean, the things that really, it wasn't the tarot reading that got me, it was the channeling.
Okay.
Because this was right before Facebook even started. So it was 2008 during the crash. And there was really no way that she could find this sort of length of detail about my aunt who had passed away. And it was so specific. One of the things that she said during the channeling is she said, she goes, your aunt wants to know where the Taco Bell dogs are. And I'm like, how in the fuck would she know that? It was just this little inside joke me and my aunt had. And I was like, okay, this is starting to really freak me out. And then I was like, all right, there's got to be something more to it. So that literally was the jumping off point into my exploration into shit that is unknown and, consciousness and spirituality and whatnot. So that's kind of it was just a weird happenstance that it happened to be someone that I saw all the time, and she was the one.
All right. So you said earlier that you were not agnostic, atheist. So would you consider yourself spiritualist now, or do you still go there is no God, but ghosts are real?
I don't know how to answer that question because I was an atheist up until very recently. I was an atheist in the sense that I didn't believe that there was one omnipotent presence that controlled everything. Because I figured, if you are that powerful, what the fuck are you doing wasting your time with this bullshit? Because secondly, you fucked up bad because this is a mess. So until very recently, I've become agnostic, only in the sense because I felt like there have been interesting things that have taken place that either I'm applying my own personal bias or belief towards, and I can't explain it. And even if I could, the more you look into it, the more kind of crazy you become. So I'm pretty much just agnostic.
Okay.
But then that was like tarot was the gateway drug into spirituality for me.
Just Hugh in a back alley, be like, "Come on, baby,
Yeah,
I suck your dick for a reading, baby.
You got any more of them tarot cards back
No,
there?
baby.
Yeah.
You got that fool that's hanging upside down, baby?
Hell yeah. The full card. That's hilarious.
So you actually have, because I've seen you at shows do this for other comics before. You actually do tarot readings now, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, of course. Yeah. So that really was the thing. So I went head first into it. I'm like, all right, this bitch knows something. I want to know how she knows it. Like, how does she figure it out? Because it was over the phone. Because you can do cold reading. Like, you can literally... it's a proven fact that you can basically extrapolate information from somebody just by looking at them and understand like what they're thinking, or you can kind of guide people. But it was over the phone, and like I said, my aunt had been dead for a few years, and this was before Facebook. So I was like, I want to tap into what she knows.
What was the length of time between give me these questions and then the reading?
What do you mean?
Like, was it the next day, the next week?
It was like a week.
Okay.
About a week, yeah. Because I wanted to get it as soon as possible.
Sure.
And I don't know, yeah, it was about a week. So, but yeah, so I do readings. I've got very involved in tarot. And then after I left the bank, I started my own company. Basically, I had 2 metaphysical stores, and I had started a subscription box service.
What? Please, hold on. I'm sorry. Second time I've heard you say metaphysical.
Yeah.
Right, that was my question.
So I say metaphysical in the sense of like a store that sells bullshit like crystals and tarot and ritualistic supplies.
So I have.
Tools.
So this is not a. There's no.
Half of my demographics literally sitting down
there drinking kava.
There's a lot of unique new agey shit down there.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we record this above a kava place.
Yeah. And just for the record, I'm so glad we don't have to record this in the kava bar because I can't stand kava bars. Kava bars are the methadone clinics of coffee shops.
I really enjoy kava a lot, especially when I'm not drinking.
Just do heroin.
Well, yeah. when I'm in a sober period, it's nice to have some. So, by the way, that is a total bullshit. I'm not sober from drinking kava. Don't let anyone tell you this is a sober bar. Because it fucking ain't.
Yeah, I saw the sign on the door that says no drugs in here. It's like, you're selling them.
Yeah, you're selling both coffee and kava.
It literally hits the same receptor in your brain.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like no competition.
Yeah, this is our street, bitch.
Yeah, I really enjoy kava. But every time time I go to a kava bar... every third person, look at this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, look at this one.
You also have to wonder, do they say the same about me?
Right.
Because I also am like, oh, man, here's that fucking guy.
Right. For some reason, I can't get the idea of what Hugh said of, like, this is our street out of my head now, because I imagine the dude downstairs, like, slamming someone's hand on the table and, like, pulling out a machete and being like, you think you can bring your fucking weak-ass drugs in here?
Yeah, bitch. Keep your coffee at the door. This is a kava-only establishment. Keeping this pimp hand strong.
Metaphysical. My understanding of that word is it's more of a philosophical thought experiment. Like, it has nothing to do with channeling or any of that stuff. It's like the thought experiment of, is morality real or whatever, that kind of shit. Like, that's like if you buy a book called Metaphysics, it's gonna be like philosophy, like Descartes and shit like that.
Right.
So what does it mean to have a metaphysical store?
So
I mean, I guess you already explained it. It's crystals and,
I think really metaphysical in an umbrella term when you're talking about spirituality really means combining consciousness and science with spirituality to create whatever nonsense you want to believe in.
Okay.
And I say that loosely because there's like the new agey side of of the metaphysical community, and then there's like the pagan occult side where they don't always like mesh well. So you have like your crystal people and your hippie, like, you know, weed smoking DMT people, and then you've got your like, I only do thelema and I only practice, you know, ancient occult ways, and I'm a purist when it comes to rituals and all that shit.
Like you had a stock of chickens in the back room and you're like, oh hey Bob, like these are for you.
Yeah,
like,
so that would be more on the ritualistic side. So that would be voodoo, more so than
How much of
killing
this-
children. Drinking unbaptized baby's blood versus, you know, peace,
Democrats.
Love, yeah.
Hey,
Hell yeah.
I took the thing and I made it into the other thing.
I would totally drink some adrenochrome if it was sitting here right now, if it would help the bags under my eyes. I'm not lying.
How much do you think? So you get into a modern American Satanist, right?
Okay.
Those people are not theistic. They don't actually believe in a being called Satan.
Well, it depends on when you say Satanist, because there are two variations. You have the Church of Satan, and then you have the Satanic Church.
Right.
So there's actual Satan worshipers. Those are not part of the Satanic Church. That's part of the Church of Satan. Then you have the non-theistic ones like Levi, or what's his name?
LaVey.
Not Anton. Well, Anton LaVey, he was the preliminary founder of the Satanic Church. Or the first church. I get them mixed up. But then there's the ones that are like for liberal leaning movements and women's rights.
Oh, the current ones that are trying to get statues up.
Right.
I can't think
they're doing that.
I think they're called American Satanists or something.
Oh, God, I'm going to get slapped by everybody that knows me.
I mean, there's part of me that loves the fact that like the Church of Satan, in a broad umbrella term, has essentially had the same fracturing as like Lutherans. Because they're like, oh, I'm sorry, your book is old, our book is new.
Right.
It's all bullshit.
But
all of it.
Here's where I was going with that. So you've got, for the sake of this argument, you've got the people who call themselves Satanists who are not theistic. They do not legitimately pray to a thing that they believe exists.
Right.
Then you've got kind of the chaos magic people
who
don't necessarily believe in a spiritual realm. They kind of just believe that you can kind of tap into the code of reality. So I guess my question is, how much of like the people at the kava bar or the people going to your store, how many of those people are, no, we just think this is a philosophy, or we actually believe this is science, versus like, no, this is a spiritual realm and God and Satan and angels?
Specifically in reference to what I was doing, or what
just
I think?
I'd say in the culture.
The zeitgeist.
Yeah, the zeitgeist.
Okay. I think it really would be like 50-50.
Really?
Yeah, because I think 50% of the people... The problem with modern day spirituality and paganism is that there is no set doctrine to abide by. So there's a beauty in that, to explore and be part of that yourself, but then there's also a lot of bullshit in it.
So you can kind of like pick and choose. You're like, I want to pray to Esther, but like I also want like the magic of crystals.
Right. And it's like, all right, well, if that in my opinion, it's like whatever makes you feel whole and makes you, it gives you some sort of sense of why we are sentient and living, do you. But at the same time, when I hear someone do the serenity prayer and they literally exchange, God to goddess and thinking that they're, it's like, honey,
so
what are
edgy.
you doing?
Right. Yeah. So edgy.
I mean, it's not even edgy. It's just like, you're not doing anything different. You're just changing from a male
figure to a female figure, right?
Which, do you, honey? But at the same time, the goddess ain't granting you no serenity to accept the things you cannot change.
So we're going to talk about hold that thought, because we're going to talk about some of that in a moment. One question I did want to ask before.
I didn't know I was going to get all into my roots of spirituality here. We're going to have like a theological TED talk.
We advertise it as a show about farts, but we often roll into this kind of stuff.
Farts and rituals. We could start our own variation of
I was about to say, not mutually exclusive, I am sure.
Right. I'm sure at Bohemian Grove, farts are part of something.
Yeah.
So this is a question I want to ask you, as somebody who has had more experience in spirituality now.
Okay.
looking back on it, what do you feel was the number one item that you sold that made sense? And what was the number one item that you were like, this is bullshit? Like,
all of it.
Both. Equally as you're giving it over.
No, honestly, the thing that made sense was a book. It's called A Book of Shadows. Okay.
I was really hoping you would just stop there. You know, like a book with like words in it that somebody thought about as they were writing.
So I think 99.999% of all of the things that you see in a metaphysical store are nonsense. But what it's really there to do, if you look at it from a fundamental level, from a practicing standpoint, is those are just considered physical representations of things that you're trying to either represent or manifest or bring about. So if that rose quartz represents love to you, and writing a little love note and wrapping that up in that makes you feel like you're going to get it, then I really think you do believe you're going to get it. You're going to get it.
That's more chaos magic-y, right? It's that idea that you can pray to James Bond. Because you want to, at that moment, you want to be charismatic and you want to be sexy, so you kind of tap into.
So, which James are you praying to, though?
Like, because I'm more.
That's what you just said is the
Pierce
opposite
Brosnan
of the point.
Better not come out of anybody's mouth right now.
The point is that James Bond is an icon of charismatic sexuality. So, if you're walking into a situation where you need, or if you're walking into a situation where you want to be silly, you pray to like Ace Ventura.
So in other words, pray to the icon of the 90s to gain his power.
We'll see how far that gets you.
Or when I read the stuff I'm talking about right now, I don't know how often I actually trying to turn it into any kind of prayer. But when I was teaching at the time, and I started I'm going to use the word channel, and I'm going to punch myself directly in the face after I do. But I would basically, to get myself through the day, I would try to channel Superman.
Okay.
Because Superman knows he's in charge. He doesn't have to yell at you or flex his muscles. He just walks into a room and goes, you all know I'm the boss because I'm fucking Superman. So I had to try to get myself in that mindset to get through my fucking day as a teacher.
To some people, they call that spirituality. And I think there's also people that just wake up in the morning with that set mindset in and of itself without even needing an archetypical figure to embrace in that concept. So it's I don't feel like it's foreign. I don't feel like there's anything special or meaningful behind it. It's just what it ultimately boils down to is just confidence in yourself.
Right. And what gets you there?
You feel you deserve what it is you want.
Right.
I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
In a circular way, this is where I actually, I'm not going to use the word believe, but agree with some of the metaphysical stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't consider myself, I don't go around touting this shit.
Sure.
I mean, I appreciate, I've gone through it. I've fallen into the traps of the shit, the charlatans, and you think you got this figured out and all, but I've gone through it. I mean, for the last 15 years, and now I'm just to the point where I've removed myself from it, and I'm just cool with whatever. I'm not trying to say that what I'm telling you is right. I actually disagree with 90% of it because like I said, it is bullshit.
Right. What I'm saying is maybe I already said this, but whatever it is that gets you there, meaning I need to be in a place of confident authority.
Exactly.
So if I have to go through the steps of writing the thing, channeling the thing, burning the thing, if that's what gets me there,
exactly,
that's the part of it, quote unquote, that I believe. It doesn't, we all do fucking weird shit.
Right.
Before you do comedy, this guy paces, this guy drinks, this guy has a cigarette, this guy just holds court with other comics and then goes, oh, it's my turn. And they just basically go from holding court here to holding court there.
Yeah.
It's just whatever gets you there.
Right. For me,
if I believe in magic at all, I believe in that.
Well, and you can call it whatever you want. You can call it magic. You can call it just manifestation, or you could just call it, your own personal confidence. Because when I go on stage, I see it in my head of I demand respect and I demand your attention. So I feel like as long as you know that I feel that way, it's gonna be, people are receptive to it. And I do think there is some things we just don't know. Nobody knows the answers to any of this. And that's the thing that pisses me off is the ones that say, oh, I got it figured out. It's like, no, you don't. You're a fucking liar. Shut the fuck up. I hate you.
So let's talk about the church. I discovered, now this is a really strong example of the difference between me and this guy. I discovered...
I can name a few others.
Well, yeah. Handsome, ugly, right? For example... I pointed at myself when I said handsome, by the way.
I love how you did a visual gag on a podcast.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, I do that shit a lot.
He's manifesting right now.
I'm manifesting. So my job is very like concentration heavy. So if I see something bizarre, I don't necessarily have time to like investigate it. And then by the end of my day, I'm not thinking about it. So I saw something bizarre. I sent it to him. I mean, I read... I don't know, a paragraph and went, well, that's stupid. But apparently my buddy here has done a little bit of a deep dive.
He's a Pisces, so he's going to fall into that rabbit
God.
hole.
Yeah, okay.
Right? You are
that
a Pisces,
will be,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
I will attempt to make that my last condescending reaction to what you just said. I'm not making promises. Rafiq, would you like to, why don't you act as if you are a believer and evangelize to us.
Please let
what
it be
you
something
have.
QAnon related.
It's better than that.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
It is better than that.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you, brethren, have heard
Yes.
of
Let me put my robe on real quick.
Yeah.
Now, the official name of the Church of Endoitology is what we officially call it. I have personally taken it to calling it the Church of Fat Asses.
Okay.
With a PH to make sure that we're all understanding. Apparently,
By the way, is it a TM or an R? On the site, whenever they say the name.
Trademark?
Yeah.
Maybe? Oh, okay.
now I don't see a trade.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Let's steal it.
Every time they put the name of this church on the website, it was either a TM or an R next to it. Which, by the way,
Oh, no, it's a TM.
totally legitimate sign of a totally legitimate religion.
Right.
It is a religion for Califian women.
Wait, hold on.
I had to
Say
look
that again? Can I see the
It's
word?
I believe it's Califian. As far as
Califian.
as far as I know, and I might have this mixed up with another term, there's like a white colonial going out into the world and seeing what's out there, and they would like run into these tribes of women that had big fat asses, and they came up with this term like to describe that body type. Like the Nicki Minaj body type, basically.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the term for the Nicki Minaj, like small waist, huge hips, huge ass, big tits.
Disney moms.
Yes,
Disney moms.
Disney
Got it.
moms.
Pixar mom.
Or Pixar moms. That's it. Yeah.
So, for the uninitiated,
I can assure you I will never be initiated into this religion.
I think you've got a stone cold atheist on this one over here.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot to get me to believe.
By the way, I can think of no more noble duty than to worship big women's asses.
Oh, I thought you were going to say booty because that was the alliteration would have been perfect.
Oh, you're right. I fucked up.
but apparently the sacred pentadon of the anti-religion religion is
just making up words. Just
Right.
making up words.
is one of the most influential books in the history of literature, recognized as one of the greatest literary masterpieces of its time, despite the fact
What was
that,
its time? Like 2016?
right? Yeah, despite the fact that nobody has heard of this.
Yeah.
People still read.
Right. This is just one
Well, your most accurate item was a book.
Yeah.
just one sad dude on a Kindle looking at this, being like, "I can't believe I spent 99 cents on this."
Or some dude like me going, I see the light.
Literary masterpieces of its time, the Book of Antoidology, the Sacred Pentadon are the 5 sacred books of the Antoidology religion. It is the holy revelation of the true existence of Adonis, the Heavenly Father, and Issa Elohim, the Holy Spirit, the curvaceous Mother God.
Okay. So the Virgin Mary looking thick.
These holy
That's the woman I could pray to.
These holy revelations were given to our Lord and Savior. I don't know if I can read
Is Adonis the Lord and Savior?
Yes, Savior King. Get it right.
Savior King.
Adonis on
So wait a minute. Adonis is God. That's what I'm hearing, right?
According to this, yes.
So monotheism.
I feel like we're getting into the Greek area of theology here.
So monotheism, he is God, but also Christian. There's a Holy Spirit,
and he likes big booty bitches.
and he likes and Holy Spirit is a big birdie bitch, and
so the Holy Spirit wants to fuck himself and others with big booties.
also we're still very much in a patriarchal. And I'm not even like super feminist guy, but we're still in the king is top dude.
Yeah.
And then, the Holy Spirit's got a big ass.
All I'm going to say is you'd be crushing it in this religion, Rafiq.
I mean, I do got a thick ass.
So you got some cake and you got some thick thighs.
Yeah, I got no hope in this religion.
Yeah, you and I are fucked.
Yeah, it's no good.
I don't know. I could.
We could be slender men.
I already am.
Well, hey.
I mean, they got the inspiration.
Woo!
I mean, I'm looking at the women on the top of this, who he is outlining as the highest level of spiritual enlightenment. And
Wait a minute. How do you get enlightened by being born a certain way? That's not fair.
To which I go,
I mean, obviously, I was born in the winning team, so it's easy for me to say that.
That's true.
I mean, I can look at these women and I go like, they would definitely like a toothpick white boy.
Oh, well, give them my number.
I'm
not kidding. There's not even part of me that's joking. If there's a fucking building that meets once a week with these people in it, I might go.
I would go just for the experience.
I'd have a very different
the thought
experience.
I'm getting in my head right now. Have you ever seen Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes.
You going to that church would be
It's
equivalent.
me and Kip. It's Kip and the girl.
It's Kip and Shawanda,
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck her name is.
Yeah.
She's like a size 80 waist with a big ass leopard panties. Yeah.
So
I no problem with that.
I feel like you'd be down.
So one thing you gentlemen do have to understand before you go to one of these services, is that the women do not dress in this Nicki Minaj-esque fashion for the temptation of men. It's to lay in their own power. And women who do not have the big booty bitches should not be jealous, for their power lies within, which makes no sense in this context.
Wait. Hold on. If you're a sexy Nicki Minaj woman, you just have the power radiates out of you externally. But if you're a Cameron Diaz, then you don't worry about it because the power's within. Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, according to
what I'm hearing is Cameron Diaz is one Brazilian butt lift away
yes. from enlightenment. Enlightenment, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it, right?
I mean, I would assume so. But please remember that this is all dictated by the angel Islam on January 3rd, 1996.
Oh, my God.
Good year. Good year.
So, now we've gone into Mormonism. An angel has dictated this book to a guy who wrote it down and put it in publishing. I love this religion.
I'm already invested.
I'm in.
mean,
you know how easy it is to start a cult?
By the way, you said something about... No, you know what? It's not worth it. Keep going.
So recent, just to keep you gentlemen up to date with what the church is doing, recently on October 28th.
If he starts passing around a tip bucket, I'm done. I'm not donating. I don't know what the fucking cost is.
Tip bucket.
I've
never heard it called a tip
you know what?
bucket.
That preacher
that
was
is
great.
Fantastic.
Tips for the pastor.
Tip bucket.
Tip your pastor.
You just destroyed my entire vision of the tip bucket. That's fucking gorgeous.
Yes,
Do y'all take crypto?
Right. Yes, it's not an offering plate. It's
we
a
only
tip
sell
bucket.
here.
Tip bucket.
It's a tip bucket, but it's got like one of those little card readers attached to the top, so you can
There's a
just swipe,
QR code?
right?
Yeah.
But recently, the church has done the following. One, they've appointed their official flag in October 28th, 2021.
Well, that only took 30 years.
Right, which is a really momentous day because this is also the same day that they awarded titles to Madonna, Beyonce, Kim Kardashian.
Hold on, wait, Madonna?
Yeah, Madonna.
Madonna? She is so washed up and worn out. That bitch has no... The only ass she could ever get is if she bought it.
I mean, she was awarded
she was a little bootyish back in the day. I mean, she's Italian.
What is the antithesis to enlightenment? Like, what is their Satan? Is it Weight Watchers? Like, what the fuck, Jenny Craig?
Oh.
Like Jenny Craig with horns?
We're mic dropping left and right over here, kids.
I know. Not sponsored, by the way.
I just want to see what that service would be like. Is like, so you want to get the enlightenment.
I'm just backing you up. I'm not beating the preacher.
You want to get the enlightenment. You gotta eat that fried chicken.
Yeah.
You gotta eat that thick old gravy.
Extra crispy.
Oh, Lord, we get into tongues over here.
Yeah.
There was a guy in my church that would always yell out, "Come on. Come on." Which in and of itself isn't like, whatever. But sometimes he would double up, and that's when it got weirder. Come on, come on.
Yeah, I would probably kill myself.
Wow, like a lot of shit apparently happened all on the same day, which implies that apparently they just uploaded all of these articles on the same day and didn't notice.
It implies that I'm going to go with something else. I'm going to say the guy who got the message and wrote this best-selling book of all time, he just kind of gave up for a while and started selling cars. And then at some point he was like, you know what? I need to get back into this booty thing. Or his book has just been floating around in metaphysical shops for the last 30 years.
It looks familiar.
And somebody grabbed it and said, I'm going to restart this shit.
Yeah, let's hash this back
One of
up.
those two things happened.
I low-key, actually high-key wish that this actually was Allan's whole fan fiction thing, and he's like, let's see how far I can take it. And now you guys are subtly promoting it ambiguously,
right? Like we're just gonna.
I wish I was that fucking crafty.
It's gonna just take over now,
right? We're just gonna drop a link on the website.
I'm not that crafty. If I could think of something like that, I'd fucking do it.
Let's do it. Have him on the podcast. Let's bring some people in.
I mean,
first, I think, honestly, we should just have a lot of women who represent. We should have a lot of them on the podcast. Just a string episodes. We don't even need to release them. We can just.
I feel like instead of getting a communion wafer, you get a little cornstarch to rub between your legs.
Or yeah, you got it. Cornstarch. I was trying to think of something else.
Top.
Little shea butter.
You win. Yeah, butter. Perfect.
Butter of any sort, nut or fat.
Yeah. No margarine. Fuck that shit.
So
not in this church.
So I'm gonna read only one. I have to read at least one of these articles to you guys because this is amazing.
Let's see how long Let's see how long it takes for us to interrupt and not get through this article.
Right. So we can either read about the proper dress code for women in the church, which is very important, or we can read about saving the souls of women.
I think we
gotta go saving the souls of women.
Let's have three men talk about how to save some women.
That's gotta be the one. That's gotta be the one. Written by dude.
Can I ask a real quick question? Who found this? And where?
I was one of my many
Pornhub.com/thick bitches.
One of my many silly Facebook groups I was in. There was, one of those where it's memes don't even almost make sense anymore.
Yeah.
So it was the name of the church on top and then the definition. So it was probably a screen grab from Urban Dictionary. And then underneath that was a picture of the Futurama robot with his hands up. So it was he was praising the Lord or something. Bender, yeah. So anyway, now, here's the other thing. It's not enough to have the meme. I have to post the meme and put my own fucking comment because apparently it can't speak for itself anymore. I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm old and I just want to go underground.
You have to understand, in order for comedy to work online anymore, you have to top whatever joke you stole.
So whatever group I was on, the person who posted it said, I finally found a religion for me. Then you get into the meme and it's definition, picture of Bender.
Got it.
Immediately I'm I got to know more about this. And it took 2 Google searches to find the church, immediately copy, paste, send it to this guy, and then he's about to initiate us.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want to be anointed.
This was one of those things where, like, he sent it to me, and I was at work, and I was just like, I'll read it later on lunch or whatever. And then, like, I opened it up on lunch and read, like, the first sentence. I was like, oh, I'm just going to burn an hour reading this bullshit because this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of those people where, like, I look at people who have beliefs that I may personally consider crazy, and I go, I don't believe this, but I want to hear everything you think about this thing, because please enlighten me as to why the earth is not flat, it's hollow, because that's where the mushroom people live.
I can tell you this. When it comes to this church, you wouldn't have to probe very long to figure out why I was interested. It wouldn't take an hour of me explaining my journey.
I would just love that TV show.
See, we didn't even get to the article. There's no way we're getting through the article.
Like this is so much better than the article, because the idea of what this article could be is actually all, because we know.
How about this? We'll try to get through at least a paragraph, and that is being fucking generous.
All right, let's say a word. And
I would prefer. Let's see if we can throw in some predictions.
All right,
I predict that it's going to make very little sense. I predict that the grammar, it's not going to be all over the place like is written by somebody who doesn't know grammar, but it's definitely going to be off. There's going to be some subject and verb disagreement. There's going to be, very little punctuation.
I feel
that's where I am.
I forgot what the paragraph was about.
It's saving women. How to save women.
Oh, okay.
Saving the souls of women.
Saving the souls of women. You know, at this point, I think they might have the secret recipe.
They might. Just a little sprinkle about that.
Rafiq, have you already read this?
No, I have not.
Predictions?
My prediction is that it's going to be blatantly sexist. It's going to be blatantly sexist, but it's going to be disguised in that shitty way that sexists do it.
Like we're doing it for your benefit.
Right. Yeah. It's like, honey, you don't understand. The reason why I'm looking at your asshole is to save your soul.
Right.
Not because I'm a pervert, but because I want to make you better. Like that kind of shitty, dude. It is going to be condescending.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be sexist. It's going to be condescending.
Hugh, what was your prediction?
My prediction, because this is one of the best literary pieces of all time, I assume that it's going to be very Shakespearean. There's going to be a lot of metaphors.
Yeah.
Very theologic in nature, very...
theologic really, sounding.
Just really... It resonates with the core of your pure conscious being.
Right.
Here's why I asked. By the way, we still haven't started it.
Yeah.
I noticed between the three of us, guy focused on grammar, professional editor and writer.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And then guy focused on like what's going to piss him off and he's going to be annoyed by the condescending sexism. And then guy who's just like along for the ride and making fun of it.
Guy that's really trying to envision a thick booty bitch who really does not particularly care to see one in any particular fashion.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I saw your face scrunch when you said, I got to think about, no.
You know what's going to be great, though, is when we find out that there's a sister church to this. That is
a brother church.
Right, yes. It is.
What is it, the Big Hog Church or something?
Yeah, hell yeah.
The church of the...
Now we got his interest.
I'm going to use some of these tenants.
Right, it's the Church of the Bear.
Okay, sure.
Actually, I think what it's going to go through is it's really just a step-by-step process of how to properly arouse a woman and find the clitoris.
Oh.
It would be nice.
I used to do a whole thing on stage about finding, like, hey, guys, what are you finding? What, are you having a hard time finding the nose on her face? It's right there. What are you finding? It was a great comedy bit when I was hilarious. Okay. Let's attempt to read one paragraph.
Ready? Read
Go.
It.
Opening scripture already.
Oh God!
Beginnings chapter 5 verse 2 reads: So Adonis created the first man of clay in his image and likeness, and breathed into him the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And Adonis, the Lord God, called him Mosey.
Was that all one sentence?
That was all one sentence.
I win. Everything I predicted in one fucking sentence.
You really should start doing readings. You're
right.
channeling things and you don't even know it.
You know what's worse about that is like not only did you predict that, there's only 2 commas in that entire run-on sentence.
What you're saying is that everything I predicted happened in one sentence. Next sentence.
My story begins with a conversation between me and an atheist several years ago while traveling on a flight to Detroit, Michigan.
Still going.
To an endoitologist convention. There was a woman on the plane seated next to me.
Please tell me there was a period before the word there.
No.
Oh, fuck me.
This is why we need to bring back public shaming.
We should. Like I'm not saying like full.
By the way,
full on blatant public shaming.
By the way, who's my journey? Who the fuck's my?
I guess it's Adonis.
It started with Adonis created Mosey, which is a museum up the road.
Yeah.
And then, Jesus, I'm exhausted already. Please continue.
I'm going to try. I am going to try sentence. Literally, it's parsed as a paragraph. This is the 3rd sentence. The woman looked over at me and saw me reading the Book of Endoitology. This woman...
No, she did not.
Yeah.
She did
not. Can you imagine reading that in public? Can you imagine reading that in public?
This woman, out of curiosity, spoke to me and said, "Excuse me." Okay, so he's already fucking up because he says, "Excuse me, miss." Unless the person writing this is a woman, which they haven't.
Did I not predict weird fucking grammar that wasn't going to connect?
Right.
God damn it, I'm good.
"I see you're reading the Book of Endoitology," she asked.
She did not say that.
I see it.
She did not say that. She went, the book, what does that say? The Book of and she tried to sound it out.
She asked, "Are you an endoitologist?" I said,
my God.
No, that didn't happen. That did not happen.
Wait, this is in Detroit?
This is on a flight to Detroit, apparently.
Oh, man, that Flint water really fucks some shit up, man. Holy shit. It's done more damage than we'll ever know.
That's where the whole religion comes from. It just comes from lead poisoning in the water.
Lead poisoning.
Oh,
this is
God.
all we're worshipping.
And I love this that this is framed as on a flight to a convention.
Endoitology convention, meaning, the masses. He's going. There's 7 people. There's 7 people at this convention.
It's like at the Radisson, like in the back.
That's too nice. The Radisson.
It's at the Red Roof.
It's at a truck stop next to fucking Shoney's or something.
Oh yes.
It's actually in the back of a U-Haul at the truck stop.
See, you have to understand, it has to be next to a Shoney's, or else how can you help them keep that figure?
Right.
It's
need the most sacred of places.
Gluttony is probably not a concern here.
I doubt it.
All right, let's try sentence 3.
Are you an android? I believe we left it. Are you an androidologist? Android.
Are you an android? I like that better. We'll just change the name to suit our own
Doesn't
desire.
really matter.
Just the way this guy changed the Bible to suit his.
Yeah.
I said to her, yes, I am. She looked a bit disappointed and said, "I'm an atheist, and as an atheist..." No atheist does this, by the way.
By the way, I am an atheist.
Atheists are not as obnoxious as vegans.
Think about Think about the journey of this conversation.
Yeah.
Are you reading that book? Are you that thing? Yes. I'm an atheist. We've gone way deep into... and I was born on, and
She's trying to make a connection on this flight, like one does on an airplane ride to fucking Detroit.
Right, yes. Because how you make a connection with any stranger is you immediately start talking religion and or politics.
Yes.
In a confined space where neither of you can leave the premise.
And you're smelling the guy in front of you popcorn farts. And
yeah.
All right, sentence 3.
One thing were the oxygen masks down as well? Because I feel like the Adonis may have put them in a situation where they're at the verge of or brink of death.
I'm an atheist.
This is definitely a Spirit Airlines flight. If
I'm
going.
Yeah.
This is Spirit.
She looked a bit disappointed and said, I'm an atheist, and as an atheist, we don't believe in
Sorry, I keep interrupting. It's me.
No, I'm just exhausted reading this because she goes, we don't believe in Adonis Elohim, which doesn't make any sense because how would you know?
Right.
How would you know?
Only the androidologists believe in Adonis Elohim.
This implies that she has read that book.
Right.
Let's not forget, she knew the language. She said, "Are you an androidologist?" And he was like, "Yup." So she already knows because this is the third most best-selling book ever.
Well, and like a proper feminist would, she would be up on her reading when it comes to how to deal with, in walking into your power.
Right.
I guess she was waiting for some kind of reaction, but I said nothing. I kept my face buried in the Pentagon, which that's a sentence. But she continued on and said...
So instead of talking, he just rudely ignored her and just kept reading.
Typical fucking religion.
Not only do we believe in God... Do we not believe in God or Adonis Elohim? We also don't believe that the human body possesses a soul. But we do believe in ghosts. So for some reason, making that distinction...
This woman, who's up on her androidology, is speaking for all atheists. We don't believe in the thing that I clearly know about. And...
Technically, she's not wrong. She's got a point.
Okay. Honestly, this is like the last sentence
I was about to say, because I just hit the wall of I don't even want to hear anymore.
This is the last sentence just because it mentions Casper, and I have to kind of read that sentence.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Not only do we not believe in God or Adonis Elohim, we don't believe that the human body possesses a soul, but we do believe in ghosts. I raised my head up and said, like Casper? She smiled and said, that was a good one. And that's where the sentence stops.
All right, can you scroll down?
And if that was me sitting behind them having that conversation, I would have prayed to Elohim to have a Middle Eastern man with a couple of box cutters just come out of nowhere and take this fucking plane down because I would have
You're done. You don't even want to live in this world anymore.
We're done.
And you want to take down 3,000 people with you.
We're in it together.
He was like, I'm sorry.
This is all part of Elohim's plan.
He was like, I'm sorry, everybody on this plane's got to go.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with everything. Yeah.
Like
I've chosen for all of you.
When I'm done, you're done.
Can you at least scroll down to one of the ways I can save a woman's soul? Is that possible? Honestly, is that possible? Because the way this is written, God only knows. It may just meander like that for the next.
I feel like there's a lot of leading on.
There is a lot of leading on.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of shit, isn't it? He never makes a point. Fucking
no, he doesn't.
I knew it.
She, whoever's writing this, talks about suddenly diverts into Socrates and Plato, and then they kind of go this is what a soul is, only to end back up in so this is what we believe a soul is, and according to this, and it never really comes back around to her.
What is the name of the article?
Is Saving the Souls of Women.
Okay.
Write that down, folks.
For a second, I was going to give him more credit, and it was foolish of me. I was thinking, maybe the title is Saving a Woman's Soul, and it was going to be specifically about the time he met the atheist and saved her soul. But no, it's what I had originally predicted.
It's women in general.
It's meandering crap that goes nowhere.
Yes.
I'm actually shocked that's the case.
Are you? Are you really?
I'm taking it back. I'm clutching my pearls, wanting I'm shocked that did not give me any valid reason to believe that this is the path that I should now take. If they could convert a fag, then you know it's for real.
Right. So, okay. I'm trying, because I know my motivation for my interest in the church, but I'm trying to think, for someone who's not interested in women, for straight women.
Right.
For straight Cameron Diaz. What is the fucking pull? I know I've already been there on this conversation. Well, but, like, what brings her into this belief system?
I guess it's the power within.
I don't know.
So, jokes, I can't even say that sentence because the whole thing's a fucking joke. But, like, just trying to take a look at this objectively for a minute, there's a part of me that goes...
By the way, I'm convinced that I have been looking at this objectively the entire time.
But, like, there's part of me that looks at this and I go, like, if I were a father and my daughter came up to me and was like, I am deciding to change my faith or religion, I feel like I am grown up enough to be like, sure, what is your faith now? Do you, like, are you Islamic? Are you, like, are you Shinto? Are you Buddhist?
I'm twerking that
right? At which point in time, you're like, oh, so you're just getting yourself cut off from the family. Like, that's what you've decided in
exactly.
life.
And as part of my spiritual journey, I'm gonna strip because I need to share the light.
Right. And
just don't let the white bitches get a hold of this because it'll be just nothing but a whole room full of women with micro bangs and purple hair and pussy hats.
I don't like how accurately you describe that.
We all know someone,
right? Yeah.
Did you want to try to get into kickball? Because we're at about 55.
Yeah, actually,
you want to talk about kickball?
Yeah, well, because I was telling him about this before you got here, but that's actually something that you've been doing that I think is fucking awesome.
Which is?
So, Hugh, you run the Tampa Bay Comedy Kickball League.
I mean,
right?
to say I run it means that there's some sort of, like, foundation of sorts or, like, some schematic that is, like, a premise that I'm using. No,
I mean,
it's just,
like,
we literally go to a park and somehow manage to wrangle up all of the most degenerate pieces of shit in the Tampa comedy community into one place during the day.
I like how you qualified it as if that doesn't just describe the community.
Specifically Tampa. Oh, yeah. Our shit stinks a little worse. No, actually, we have a good community.
Yeah, but also I would like to point out the fact of, like, you go that there's some sort of foundation when you just described an actual foundation of getting them together, organizing them.
That can't be easy. It's hard enough for these two idiots to make this happen.
What I love about the way that people are looking at this is it's like it takes like 3 Facebook posts and about 5 minutes of planning to put this together, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you're able to do all this stuff." It's like, who the fuck does anyone have project management skills?
It's not the organizational planning part of it. It's the I invited so-and-so and so-and-so appeared.
Gotcha.
That's the shock of it.
I mean, I do kind of get along with everybody. So,
yeah. But I think that's so part of the reason why
I still hate everybody. I just
but we know you hate us all
selective.
Equally.
I'm selective with my hate.
But part of the reason why I was talking with him about it is because, like, I've been reading The Comedians, like, the book recently, and they talk about how, like, in certain periods of history, like, there were those, like, collective spots where comedians would come together.
Like a comedy club?
Not just at a comedy club, but it's like we would all go out to this restaurant.
Right.
Or we all had this, you know, like, place on the boardwalk in comedy.
Silverman talked about their softball game. It was like her and Louis C.K., like all the giants,
right.
All the giants now who are like now hitting 50, they were all like playing in a softball league.
So all I need to do is me too someone and I can be Louis C.K. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, you have to find... I mean, maybe there's like a guy or two in Tampa who would be like ripe for it.
Yeah.
Like,
there's literally none. None. Zero.
Maybe Jeff.
Jeff wishes.
Oh!
Wait, there's 3 gay Jeffs, by the way.
I know, which I love.
Throne.
Whichever one you just reacted about, that's who it's for.
So my question. So first, tell the folks at home about it because that's fucking awesome. Like, what made you come up with it?
Hey guys, listening to a podcast, we play kickball.
No, I mean, like, what made you come up with it? Like,
I don't know. I felt like some people. I like to hang out with I have like my little clique of comedy friends, but I also have friends outside of comedy. So like, I was like, what would be a fun way to kind of just get everybody together and, you know, hang out? And I thought, well, let's try kickball. Because kickball is like one of those things where you don't really need to be good at it, but you can still participate. Like softball, that's you need some sort of like dexterity or some eye-hand coordination.
Like there's one dude who's going to be like leagues better at it than everybody for like no reason.
Or have like the shoulder or the advice of a lesbian to kind of guide you through. But like kickball, it's just like, all right, well, it's fun. And then it's kind of wacky too. I don't know. It just seemed kind of like a nice thing to do. And so I threw the idea out there, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, that'd be great. And it was right, actually, this is a year, we had our first one last year, this week, I think. And it was right before Thanksgiving. I know some people don't have, like, families or friends, so it was kind of a way we kind of all came together and just had a fun, fun little event. And the first one was, like, a huge success. I mean, I think there was, like, 80 people that showed up. The second one was almost as many people.
Wow.
I don't know if this one's going to be because this will be the third one. I don't know if it's going to be as, I don't know, popular because there is just so many like little tiffs in the community right now.
How do you just said 80?
Yeah, I think the first one there was at least 80 people.
Are you playing kickball with 80 people? How does that work?
You know what it is? I think I'm so type A that I can just like say, all right, here's what we're gonna do. This is how I'm gonna do it. And as long as you give the plebes the constraints to follow, and they'll.
But you're not organizing it.
No, well, I am organizing it. I'm just saying, the way people are looking at it is like there's a committee, like I'm the commissioner of the kickball.
No, you're just the guy who gets everyone there, puts them all in line, tells them what to do, keeps the thing moving.
Right. That's why I should start my own religion.
Yes. And we have already determined it's going to be the big hog religion.
Hell yeah. You gotta have 9 inches cut only.
Oh, cut on.
Yeah.
I can't be in it.
Oh, well, that was interesting. An easy way to find that out. I noticed Rafiq's not said anything.
Yeah.
In relation to circumcision or size. He's just sitting there bashfully. So, yeah, it's a fun event that we do, and we're doing one next Sunday. So it'll be nice.
Yeah, so I had actually wanted to be a part of that, but unfortunately I got to fucking do my Christmas tree adventure, and that's a whole fucking thing.
Shut the fuck up. Bring your ass out there, cancel Christmas trees or whatever, and just come.
Cancel Christmas, you idiots.
Yeah, fuck Christmas.
Dude, I already spent way too much money on this plane ticket. I ain't canceling this shit for nothing.
Oh, you're leaving. Oh, you're actually going somewhere.
Yeah, so we're going
Please
up to...
bring that book on your flight and see
Android
if somebody comes up and asks you about it, because I want you to lead them to enlightenment and the freeing of women.
I'm just going to be holding it up, like pointing it
slightly
just
towards I always read way above my head.
Just like slowly rotating the book above my head to be like, any takers?
He goes up to the front and takes the speaker and just starts like narrating the book.
Right, yeah.
Has anyone seen my copy of Androidology? I lost my copy of Androidology.
Just a flight attendant being like, sir, you can't be up. Bitch, get the fuck away from me.
It's like, I know this is...
No, but before you curse her out, you look her up and down and go, nah.
This is Spirit Airlines, but we do refrain from this sort of behavior. It is beneath us.
Right? Yeah, it's Spirit, but like not that kind of Spirit.
Take that shit on over to Frontier.
No, so like, you got it coming up, right?
Yeah.
How many teams are there? You said like 80.
Oh, so the first, we did it we separated into 4 teams. The first one, and there was like, actually, yeah. So there actually was, for the actual players of the game, there was 4 teams of 12, and I told him I used a random number generator, but that was bullshit. I separated up by fat people, women, and capable athletic men because I wanted it to be fair. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of
fat people,
large, fat people that.
So you're not talking about there was a team comprised primarily of fat people.
No, but this time I told them I'm putting all the fat people on one team.
Team fats.
It's going to be hashtag team fats.
So you're going to have
only one team.
You're going to have at least one person who either doesn't consider themselves fat, and
or they're about to find out,
right? Or they've been working real hard and they've made progress, but you're still going to put them on the fat team,
but not enough. Work harder next time, okay? Step on the scale a couple weeks beforehand.
You know what would be great though is like, because every time I remember playing kickball as a kid, the fat kids were always like the power kickers.
That is true.
So
the weakness is in the running,
right? Yeah. So it would be great if I come back to Facebook in like a week, and it's like a bunch of comics like missing teeth, like broken noses. They're like, Team Fat fucking won because they just knocked out all the other players. This is some bullshit. Like,
but the downside is it's the distance between the home plate and the first base.
Just gonna say
and then literally it's so much easier to hit you with the ball.
Right, just comics like get halfway through, stop for like smoke breaks, like. Can I get a ho-ho?
Kyle Reese is like snorting a line of coke halfway down to first base. Actually, here's the funny thing about Tampa comedy. That might be the first time a lot of them ever make it to first base. For being completely honest.
This guy is just stabbing left and right.
Fuck all of them, because I just don't really care. But I do, I don't.
Yeah,
I do, I don't.
So...
I ambivalence you. Yeah. I'm going to start saying that to everyone I care about.
I'm enlightened.
Yeah, I've been shown the way of the 9-inch cut hog, whatever.
There's no coming back from that, by the way.
So, yeah, okay, so...
But, you know, if I converted, you know, I've got options.
You do.
So, okay, here's kind of a related question, but unrelated now. So we've talked about your version of this religion, and I can't stop thinking about this now. Does your
you can't stop thinking about 9-inch cut cock.
Nah, I mean, like it's a potent image.
It's throbbing in my mind right now.
It's just pushing its way past my ears into my brain.
It's filling me up.
So in your version of this religion, just to go back to it, are these all bears, like big, hairy dudes?
What are you asking me, Rafiq?
I'm
what
asking,
exactly are you asking?
There is a potential connection here.
I'm asking you, is your religion, because when you look at the people in the Andoitology religion, they're all looking for Rihanna types. Okay. So what I'm asking you is
Rihanna big-assed? I thought she was kind of thin.
I mean, they mentioned Rihanna and Nicki Minaj as receiving titles as, what was it? It was
they also threw Madonna in there. So
yeah, I mean...
Anyway, sorry. I totally interrupted. Where were you going with that?
So what I'm asking is your religion the religion of, like, Hugh Jackman in his prime, like, shirtless? Or are we talking about, like, the religion that it's like, oh, are you a Jack Black type?
Jude Law, right? Young Jude Law.
Honestly, if I had to be honest, like, I'm thinking, like, Dame Judi Dench with a huge cock.
I can't...
Not Dame Judi Dench in her heyday, but Dame Judi Dench now.
My day's ruined.
A little bit for everybody.
I can't stop thinking about that now.
I like to paint pictures. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean,
for my religion. Honestly, this was not the things I thought I was going to be asked on this podcast, because we've had a lot of conversations about a lot of things. This was not the route I thought we were going to take.
Welcome to our podcast.
But what's funny is I do have a whole bit about yoni eggs with, like, the women I used to sell these crystals to. They would buy... My friend of mine did open up a Etsy store, and she
Are
sold
these the vaginal
eggs.
Exercise balls?
Yeah, it's to strengthen your pelvic floor, but they're crystals, so you get...
Wait,
more.
like, hold on. They're still smooth, right? They're not fucking bumpy ass crystals.
Yeah, I'm not shoving. You're not like shoving a geode up your snatch. You're not like a bear trap of sorts. No, it's like a smooth egg, but it's the crystal is like, it could be jade, it could be amethyst, it could be rose quartz.
I like the idea now that, like, she doesn't know what it is until she's gotten her vagina tight enough that she can crack the geode.
Yeah, that's
she's
how
like,
you know. That's when you've reached enlightenment in the yoni religion.
Like, you just hear the crunch, and then, like, it comes out, and she's like, "Oh, cool!"
Wait,
like,
is there a yoni religion?
Never-ending gobstopper.
That wouldn't. Hey, that wouldn't stop my gob. Huh?
Yeah. So
Silence.
I mean, this is basically
That was a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. Well, this is the reason why I love having you on the podcast and just people on the podcast in general. It's just, you know, like, you as a person, you know, and as a comedian are one of the types of people where I know I can go, let's talk about this religion, and you will have something to say on it.
That has nothing to do with me as a person. I'm just a very opinionated faggot. And that's
But
just
that has
part
nothing
of my,
to do with you as a person.
That's nothing to do with me. That's part of my essence of being. You could go to any gay man walking down the street and just say, what are your thoughts on, and you don't even have to say it, and he will go right into it.
I mean, that's fair too, but
judgmental.
Here's my favorite thing. There's no way I can say this without sounding fucked up. But my favorite thing about your type of gay guy, whatever that means,
okay,
is that there's the feminine that I think is indisputable, but you're also just a shitty dude. And that's
they have their place.
I fucking love, I love that. This is just another shitty dude who, regardless of any, stereotypical or who they're into, it's just another gross guy. Awesome. I love that shit.
Yeah. I traverse the grounds.
So actually, bringing up the archetype of the sassy gay guy actually does bring up an interesting question to mind, because I was talking with my niece about this, because she
How old is your niece? Because when I'm hearing niece, it's is she 12 and you're having a
Let me tell you about the Church of Android College.
What do you think about these homosexuals?
No, she just recently came out.
How
as
about
gay.
those gays?
Oh, yeah.
She's 16. So
okay.
I'm the youngest. I've talked about this before, but I'm the youngest out of 8.
I appreciate the context, because that was important.
Yeah, I have siblings of all age ranges, and they have kids, and so, my oldest nephew is over 21 now, which is fucking weird, because it's oh, hey dude, we can go and get drunk together, and I don't know if your parents would appreciate that. There's one thing where it's okay, cool. We're, I'm your cool uncle, and I'm introducing you to alcohol for the first time.
I love that he thinks he's the cool uncle.
Oh, I'm definitely.
You're really
cool
playing
uncle.
that one up, Rafiq.
But there's definitely that distinction though between that.
Did you see how mad he got? I'm
he
definitely.
Opened the door and I had
I'm
to just
fucking
kick it right
definitely
off
the cool uncle. Okay.
I'm their only uncle. I have to be the cool uncle.
No,
Sorry.
but there's definitely the distinction between cool, I'm introducing you to beer or whatever for the first time, and oh hey, I drove us back and he is fucking hammered, so you're gonna be the one having to give him Pediasure or whatever in the fucking morning. There's a weird distinction of one of those is more okay than the other. You know what I mean?
So one of them sounds like a cool uncle, and one of them sounds like my father.
I mean, did he touch you? That's
Wait, where did molestation come into this
Does that
conversation?
insinuate that you're molesting
No.
people? What?
So there's a lot of subconscious hints or cues I'm getting from you.
Have you met Rafiq?
Yeah.
So what I was getting at though is she recently was watching that show Q Force or whatever on Netflix.
Never heard of it.
So it's a show that's full of gay archetypes, really.
It's a superhero show, right? But all the characters are gay or something?
I think so.
I think I heard about it.
I think it's more spy than superhero, but yeah. So, but one of the things she was complaining about is they have this sassy gay character, and she's being sassy and gay is not a personality.
No.
But I will say there's a lot of gay men who I've met who have kind of adopted sassy and gay as a personality. So
I think adopted's a little. I mean, that's like saying I know a lot of black guys who've adopted the whatever.
But adopted actually works, because if you were sassy and gay, there's a good chance your parents did put you up for adoption.
Oh my God.
That was a joke.
I got it.
But also probably not for some.
But so I mean, the question I was going to ask you is where do you feel on that? Do you feel that is a representation of something you come across in the community, or do you feel that's a trope that studios are just reusing all the time?
I think it's both. I think there are people that play into it knowing that it's a stereotypical trope, but I also think that there are just some gay men that are
sassy and
naturally
Right.
very feminine and affectatious and very, they have that's why I think it has to be just a genetic thing.
Yeah.
Because some men you'll talk to and it's like a fucking purse falls right out of their mouth.
yeah.
And then you talk to like Jeff Klein, who is I always say
The slobbiest gay dude I've ever met.
Jeff Klein, I always tell him, like, you are the gay man who had a good relationship with his father growing up, because that is what happens when you have...
I'm gonna say some Jeff Klein material here, which is probably not the right thing to do. But my favorite fucking joke of his, he talked about coming out.
You have a favorite joke of Jeff Klein?
Yes. He talked, this is an old joke. He probably doesn't do it anymore, but he had this old joke about coming out to his parents, and they were disappointed. They weren't disappointed because I'm gay. They were disappointed because I wasn't. And then he went on to describe the very fabulous gay, and he goes, that's the gay they wanted. This is the gay they got.
Right.
That line, that's the gay they wanted. This, oh, fucking beautiful.
That is a good line. I don't know if I've heard him say that one recently.
So where would you, where do you openly admit that you hate everybody?
No, I don't hate everybody.
Where would you put yourself on that scale? Like, would you say
On the sassy gay scale.
Yeah,
on a
like,
scale
would you-
of James Charles to fucking, I don't know,
yeah, would you say like you see that character, and you can relate to them, or do you go like, I reject the notion that this is supposed to represent me and the community or whatever?
I really don't fit on that scale. It's part of the community. It's just like you've got big people, tall people, short people, fat people, whatever. They're just there. But I don't feel like that represents me.
That's fair. I always find that curious because
I feel like what they're doing, it's almost pandering in a sense with certain things like that. And you notice that a lot nowadays, especially like marginalized communities, where they put like the most poignant figure of that marginalized community front and center. And it's like, well, really, that's not all of us.
Yeah,
Right.
I think there's speaking as a straight white man, so let's all
Please
listen.
share your opinion.
Obviously, his opinion holds
There
weight.
is this weird thing that I've noticed, that it's good intentions, good idea, ultimate problem later.
Yeah.
Will and Grace
Yes.
defined what homosexuality is for everyone in the 90s. And it's like gay people it just is. Gay people are into fashion. Gay people say the word fabulous all the time. And so good intentioned, because they were like, we want to bring a lifestyle that is a little marginalized into the home and expose people to something. But then you get guys like me who didn't have any gay people around them.
Right.
I go through life going, that's what gay is. Until I go to a restaurant and I meet this buff, elbows out dude named Ford. Yeah. And he was gay as a football bat. I was like 21. I didn't even know what to do with that information.
So what exactly were you doing at a place with a gay buff dude by the name of Ford?
Did I say work? It was a place I was working.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that part.
Yeah.
Funny you say that, because I had a moment like that growing up. So I think, I don't know, for Rafiq, if you ever see... I know a big thing like that similarly took place was with Black Panther. So they say, having that, they were apprehensive about doing a superhero movie that consists of black superheroes because they didn't think it was going to do well. But really what happened was they were saying it gave people of color their own little symbolic archetype of sorts. So to play into what you were just saying, though, is I remember growing up as a child in the 90s knowing damn well, very much well, that I was gay and not out of the closet yet. I watched the movie The Birdcage, and it's a classic movie, probably one of the best, well-done movies. The writing is just, it doesn't age. It's hilarious.
Is that the one with Robin Williams and
Hank
Nathan
Azaria.
Lane and Robin Williams? Yeah.
I've seen that movie, I think probably 3 times over the course of my life. And
It's a great movie.
one of my favorite things about that is especially as I get older and I've seen it, because every once in a while it'll come on TBS or something like that, and it's the thing I loved about it was you had these 2 characters who were gay, and obviously you would look at it now and you'd be like, that shit can't fly in a more modern context. But I remember looking at it, and there was never a moment where like Robin Williams or Nathan were like apologetic about being gay. And like there was a great thing for me because like I knew gay people, like there were like a couple gay kids in my neighborhood like back like when I was like 10 or 11. And I remember there was always like this kind of like meekness of like you could clearly tell that they weren't into women. And it always seemed like we would be hanging out in like a group of people and like someone would be like, oh yeah, like she's so cute, or like, oh, she's so hot or whatever. And like they would almost seem like they'd have to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't really see her.
Yes, breasts feel like bags of sand.
Right, yeah. And like I always felt bad because it's like, as someone who has perpetually been the outsider in life, there's always that, you know, portion of me that goes like, no, dude, like I'm fucking rooting for you. Like if you like tits, you like tits. If you don't like tits, you like dick, fucking go for it, man. Be yourself.
But here's where I was going to go with this, with the birdcage. So when I saw the movie, it really is a portrayal of, first of all, it's two men that own a drag bar, which most people have probably seen it, but if you have it, it's two men that own a drag bar in Miami in like the late 80s, early 90s. And I remember seeing that movie and I knew that they were gay, obviously, but I remember in the back of my head saying, I have to be that way when I get older. So I don't know. And then you talk, if we get into the psychological aspect of it, it's like, is that internalized homophobia? And it's like, you know, probably, but you know, either which way.
I don't think so, because you weren't scared of the sex part of it. You were scared of the, do I have to act like that? Yeah.
Well, it was the portrayal of like, am I only acting the way I'm acting now because I know from a societal standpoint that I wouldn't be accepted. It wouldn't be accepted to not be what I was masking myself to be. Right. So there is an element of shame involved in that.
That to me, straight white man. So you guys should all listen to what I have to say. That to me is the curse of what happened in the 90s. Because you even get into like Mrs. Doubtfire, Harvey Weinstein and his partner, super flaming. Well, who do I go to dress up like a woman? I should go to my gay brother or whatever he was in the film, you know. Well, so therefore,
but here's the
all
irony
gay
in that.
guys are.
At no point in Mrs. Doubtfire did they ever say that he was gay.
No, they do.
It is very much insinuated.
They don't say the word gay, but they do say like Uncle John and Aunt Bob or whatever. So there's definitely like, see what they did there?
Right. But they never did really. So it's that. So they're playing into the trope, and I think it's. From a Hollywood standpoint, I don't give a shit. It doesn't bother me. I'm not offended by anything because I just know intention matters. But the trope in and of itself is the detriment, because then if for the people that have they have no other thing to compare it to, then you just assume this is all there is. And that's why you need a wide range of reality. And I think that's the problem when you're dealing with these like very specific marginalized groups. You bring the most poignant one out, and it's like people are gonna, if you already disagree with them, putting the most obscure thing in front of them is not always going to help.
And then the problem goes, in my opinion, goes in the other direction, where I have a trans, gay, whatever character, and I want them to be the villain. And now somehow I'm trans. Like they're all trans people are awesome and good, and none of them do any villainous shit. Right. So if I have a trans character who's crazy,
I know a lot of trans people, and that's all they do is villainous shit.
Right.
That's all they do.
I'm sick of that. So I'm sick of seeing a portray I remember sometime in the 2000s, way later than this should have been happening, I saw some shitty horror movie, and it was like a new movie in the theater, and the black guy was like, shit, right, and it's just super C-word.
Or like the movie Airplane.
And I'm, as a white dude who probably at that point in my life didn't really have any black friends, I'm going, am I okay with this? Is anyone else seeing, like, this can't be good? So the other side of that, though, is, oh, well, your villain's a trans person, so the studio's not going to, like, right. So I can't just have a person be a fucking person? So
this has always been my, I don't want to say solution, but this has always been my concept of how you play that out, right? Is like because to me, like, gender identity is important and, like, they do need representation, but I always kind of want to stick it to the people who go like, oh, you can't have a gay James Bond or whatever. Because what I would love is like if there was a Bond movie where you see Bond go through his
full
whole thing.
bareback, no lube,
No, but like you
just
get
spit.
but
As long as he's uncut.
Right, no, but you have a thing where it's like Bond, and you have the female love interest, and like you see he's kind of playing towards it, but like they never hook up. There's never that scene where they fuck, and then there's the next morning or whatever. But then you get to the end of the movie, and it's just James walking into his apartment, kisses his boyfriend, and cuts to black, and you just have some confused hillbilly in the theater
would love that.
Have you
going like,
seen-
"What the fuck?" Like,
Have
be
either
great.
of you seen Mastermind?
No,
It's the animated. I think it's called Mastermind.
the one with Steve Carell.
are you talking about Megamind?
Megamind.
Megamind?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
though.
so it's about the villain, and it's been a while since he's blue skinned, right?
Yeah.
Blue skinned villain. I think he's an alien, and that the hero, the superhero of this world, is a very Superman archetype, right? So there's a Superman, there's a reporter, Lois Lane figure,
Yeah.
right? These two are not romantically involved at all. At one point, they see each other on a rooftop, and it's kind of like, "Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm all right." Like it's a little distant. It's not even that they're not in love. It's like they're not even really friends, even though he's like saved her life several times. Then later in the film, Megamind breaks into Superhero's house while Superhero isn't there, and everything looks like Liberace's house.
Yeah.
Everything's got tassels and glitter. And by the end of the movie, I put it together. Oh, the Superman in this universe is gay. That's clearly what they were doing.
Either that or Big Glitter had their hands involved
Yeah, the
in
big,
production.
you know.
Big Crayola.
So
No, but
that's
that's true.
an example,
Right.
you know, where it's like, I mean, you had to kind of find it on your own, but it's like, oh, I see what they're doing here.
Right. So,
But have they ever done that with a non-marginalized group? Like you can, oh, that's classic white people.
right.
You know,
Wasn't
Just
there a
some
movie
dude
called
eating,
White?
like,
I mean, there's a movie
chowder.
called White Chicks.
Deliverance. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, just like some dude eating like chowder.
Oh, Whitey, always raping people with your banjo.
Boys don't cry. I don't know.
I don't know. To me, again, it's that whole thing of like there's a whole thing about representation where it's like, oh, you got to be careful. You don't want to step on any landmines. You can't have the trans person be a villain. You can't have, like a gay main lead or whatever. And to me, I go, if you just played out the movie and you
Didn't make a big deal of it.
right,
Right.
and you like
It doesn't need to be a political statement.
Yes.
right, if you have a moment, because it's that kiss in the last Star Wars movie where they're like, oh, we got to edit this out for like the Chinese, and I go like, you know what would have been great if you had just seen like Ray at some point in time in a bar see a woman and just be like, can you buy her a drink?
I
Just
do, honestly.
like-
Now that I'm saying this, I cannot think of an example, but I actually do see that more often now on like TV shows where a character, the man and woman are in a relationship, but then later in the show, one of them has sex with a woman or a man, whatever. Like that is becoming more frequent.
I will say those Tide commercials with the two gay guys with the black African baby were so gratuitous and pandering. I was just like, get these fags off my TV. It's too much. It's like they went way too far.
Okay, so going back to the damage the 90s did, this show comes on that explodes called Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Now that I will say, Will and Grace had at least a range because you had Jack and then you had Will.
Yeah.
Right.
And the real portrayal or the best portrayal of gay culture in that entire show was the relationship between Karen and Jack, the fag hag and the fag. But yeah, but Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
But when Queer Eye came out,
that was bad.
I, at that point in my life, still had some homophobia that I wasn't even ashamed
That
of.
shit made me homophobic.
Right.
Yeah.
At that point in my being, I still had some homophobia that I was not even ashamed of. Never saw a frame of that show, but knew enough about it to go, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
This is weird. So you're just saying this is what gay is.
I also hate that Carson Kressley was the one that got to have he was the paragon of he was the monument of gayness, and it was just there's so many other options they could have went with, but he was just the worst.
There are certain moments though where looking at it now, I go. RuPaul has done his thing and he's an icon, which I think is great. But part of me goes are we perpetuating that same concept of this is what gays got to be? It's got to be a bunch of drag queens. To which I go I know a lot of gay dudes who would probably just kick the shit out of you on the street. I used to tell this bit on stage. I don't know. I might go back to it. I go back and forth on whether or not it's okay for me to say it. But there was a moment a couple years ago now.
Was this the day that you had a drink thrown at you on top of the improv stage?
No. Although thank you for bringing that up because, I want to talk about that trauma.
You inflicted that trauma. That was one of the first mics I'd ever gone to. I'm this is great.
No, is this what comedy is?
Oh.
Well, so that was
this guy's going to get shot.
Yeah, well, but I mean, that was one of those things of talk about that for a moment. For me, I hate in my soul, I hate the idea of you getting on stage and some dumb asshole in the audience talking over your material. Because if I know you well enough to go, you worked and you prepared for this. You spent your entire week going, does this bit work? Does this bit not work or whatever? And I get fucking livid when somebody does that. So every time I see that in the show, I always go, can you shut the fuck up? I don't care if my set tanks. I need you to shut the fuck up to respect the other people who are working hard in this room.
I hear what you're saying. But at the same time, I love a drunken, messy bitch. I will lean right on into it because, honey, if you want to be the star of the show, I will make you the star. Let's have you become the star of the show now because we're going to flip the fucking table here and I'm going to give you all of the attention you're asking for. Yeah. Don't tell her to shut the fuck up. Please keep talking so we can have a conversation because I'm going to destroy your essence to fucking live. And that's how I would handle it. But
see, I appreciate that. But what I was saying is, for me, recently, I did a thing with, John Jacobs where, they had a bunch of us out in our underwear holding up signs for Tampa News.
I remember
Force,
that.
Right. And so the thing that made me laugh about this is some dude pulled up and said, hey, you fat faggot. Right? And I remember being so hurt. Not because he had called me a faggot, but because he had called me fat.
I love how gayness took a backseat to obesity.
Right?
That's not the first time gayness took a backseat.
But I am not giving up chicken.
Right? And so, but that was how I knew that we were in the 2020s because I remember being in the 90s and if someone had called you a faggot, you were like, oh, I'm about to go to jail. I got to go fucking murder a dude now. How dare you?
It's now, for me, I'm at the point where if somebody were to throw that at me, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? Are you still saying that to people?
Are you not in therapy? What is going on? Do some reflection.
Right. I used to do a thing on stage about me knowing several gay guys who assumed I was bisexual and how that there was a time in my life that would have freaked me out, and now I'm at the point where I'm I don't know, maybe you know some shit I don't. You've clearly got the experience here. I don't.
I mean, we know what we're doing. Yeah, we got the equipment.
Right. And so to me, it's that thing of as far as people being represented, right? There's that thing of I love the fact of how far as a society we've come. Where somebody calls me that and it's not an instant oh, I gotta fight. It's oh, my feelings are hurt. You called me fat.
I mean, not to be the contrarian to that, but there's a part of me that misses the darker side of being gay. And I don't mean that in a way of I enjoyed the fear of people either potentially harming me just because they could tell that I am gay. But there was just, and God, the gay community would fucking hate anybody.
I think I know where you're going with
this.
But
there's there was almost this like before you had to go to a gay bar to be yourself, right? Like you like I can go anywhere in St. Pete right now and make out with a man in the restaurant. Most people aren't going to say anything, and if they have an opinion, they'll keep it to themselves. But 15 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, it'd be different, and like it was a different community at the time. It was almost rebellious. It was almost like, we don't really give a fuck.
So like kind of like a counterculture thing?
Yeah, it was very counterculture. And it was like there was a subculture within society of like, we had our space. Not that I don't think we're worthy of being open in ourselves, but it was just a different atmosphere.
So I basically, mine's a little more in a different direction, but I've had this conversation with a friend of mine, real close friend of mine, and I asked him, I said, like, I guess the word would be sexy. Is being gay now like less sexy?
It's almost trend. It's like a trend. Like I'm sorry, it's more queer. Queerness is a trend.
So what you're saying is you liked gay bars before white women were just going in there to get drunk.
Oh, honey, white women have been going in gay bars since gayness started. But I'm meaning in the sense of there was I don't know. I guess I'm nostalgic for the idea of like I had to like literally fight my way into coming out, and like I had these certain constraints I had to function within. Like I still would, even if I was married, I never held my husband's hand walking down the street, even though I think it would have been okay. It was ingrained in me. But I'm not trying to like, what's the word? I'm not trying to make it sound appealing, because there was a lot of terrible things that happened to gay people, but the culture itself has changed. And I think me personally, I knew being gay had really become mainstream when capitalism got its hands in it.
Yeah.
And that's when it changed, because it's like, hey girl, yes queen, for the month of June, we're putting rainbow flags on everything.
This
It's
guy.
like so fake.
Every fucking Pride, every year I have to sit and listen to him be angry that Pepsi is making their cans rainbow.
I mean, I appreciate it.
My attitude is always, what the fuck do you expect? Of course they're going to do that. They're going to make them pink for breast cancer. They're going to make
Black Panther.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do it, and then they saw that it made money, and now they're all about inclusive whatever. Right. It's like, well, if y'all had just been cool to begin with, we wouldn't have to have any of this, right?
That's again, maybe I'm in a different track, but like you're seeing the mainstreaming of a lot of stuff now, to the point where even I would say it ain't like, there's no kinky sitcoms, but kink, even just the idea of living kink is becoming like, oh, well, don't kink shame. And it's like, at some point, when do you remove kind of what's hot about it? You know what I mean? What's hot about, what I used to be the only guy I knew that ate ass, and now eating ass is just normal on the table shit.
If you're not eating ass, then what are you doing?
Right.
Eat the booty like groceries. It's like, okay, it's now so popular that it's like a routine daily task.
And I think really what's happened, it's almost like our internal selves, because of the era that we grew up in. You know what's changed in all of this? The only dynamic that's changed, that's created the environment that we're talking about, is shame.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody has any shame anymore. And I'm not saying you should be shameful.
I just said on this microphone without hesitation about I eat ass. Right. I also talked about my foreskin earlier.
Yeah. Got tastes.
Yeah. I mean, like it's absolutely right, but kind of, to both of your points, to me, the thing that annoys me, and kind of along the lines of like removing what is sexy about it, is especially when capitalism gets involved, I go, if you were just being inclusive, fuck yeah, rad. What I don't like, and what he hates me bitching about, is I go, when it comes to Pride Month and you have gay water, I go, that's not being inclusive. Right. That's going like, oh, we'll sell to the queers on this month because it earns us more money, but we don't actually want them to be and it's like,
by the way,
it's kind of like Black History Month. Does a black person really feel any more important in the month of February?
Right? Like teach it all year round.
Right.
Like don't segregate it in the sense of like, well, we need to give them their own month. We need to give Latinos their own month, or else nobody will know.
At the end of the day,
this.
just let me fuck who I want, let me marry who I want, let me abort what I want, and let's just leave it at that, right? Like, period, end of sentence. I don't give a fuck what you do, who you do it with. But then again, I also have been called an Uncle Tom homo, so I'm probably not the one to really be hashing out the body politic, the pulse of society right now.
To be able to break down the whole idea of the Uncle Tom homo, like, there's so much there that just doesn't work.
I actually just recently wrote a bit about that, just like leaning into the fact that someone legitimately called me that, and I'm just like, what? Like, what does that mean?
That's
like, I know what it means. Like, we all know what it means, but it's like, oh, you're
what
one
does
of the,
it really mean?
You're one of the good ones. It's like, all right, well, shut the fuck up. I'll take my dick out and put it in your mouth so you can just stop talking. Like, I'm done with you.
It's not even about arousal at that point.
Yeah,
it's just shutting someone else up.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
By the way, I don't disagree. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I don't disagree with any of what you said about the gay water. Here's what you are.
Thank you.
Turn you gay.
You're the comic book fan who still gets angry when they kill a character and bring him back 6 months later. It's like, what the fuck did you expect them to do?
That's do better.
What they do.
Yeah, but guess what? And this, I feel like we can say about everything in life, is what I expected them to do is do better.
But
because we all know.
But you know Pepsi ain't gonna.
Yeah, but guess what? If you this is just saying it in general.
This is the crazy ex-girlfriend. You can't fix her. She's going to do what she do. You can't fix Pepsi. You can't fix the fucked up corporate mindset. It is.
See, but this is where I disagree with you, because we have. That's literally what things like the Stonewall Inn, if you're talking about the gay community, if you're talking about like the black community, civil rights and things like that.
But Pepsi wasn't involved at the time.
No, it was just a bunch of pissed off trannies.
Right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is at a certain point that was the culture. There were stores like, I think it was like Mayfield's or whatever, when they were like before Sears, who were like, we don't sell to black people, and then black people put pressure on them, and they started sending out catalogs to black communities. Until you demand that people do better, people are just gonna sit by and wait.
You're also talking about do better on a totally more like abstract level, I guess would be the word, an abstract level of, okay, we did because here's what Pepsi's going to say. We did better. We got the gay water now.
Yeah, to which I go, then do better than that.
Yeah, do better by not doing as good. Like, do a little bit less better.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's like, I don't know. At some point, I lost that fire that still exists in you, where I'm like, people around me getting mad that the third sequel sucked. And I'm like, dude, it's the third sequel. The third sequel always sucks. What are you mad about?
Which I
know, Troll 2.
Right. But here's the thing, though, right? I understand what you're saying, but for me, I think it's great that you have included black characters in your whatever, right? But what I would appreciate is, I know you've included black characters, but if you would stop coming out and marketing and going, hey, we got a bunch of Negroes in this. You guys happy now? And I go, that would be great.
You know who's not happy about it? The Chinese. They're not real big fans of it.
And again, I don't disagree with the cynicism of it at all. I agree with everything you're saying. I don't see how it's possible to even get mad about it anymore. It's like, that's what they do. You know.
Who's they?
The corporate.
I'm just
What do you mean, you people?
You people.
All right, we have gone way over. We could be doing this all day. Clearly. Mr. Hugh, I forgot your last name.
CAREY.
Hugh CAREY.
Do
you have things to pimp and
No, not. I mean, I got shows coming up, but I don't know when this is coming out. But
we're doing this. We're trying to get this one out on December 1st. So anything past that,
you can see me around town. I'm at different clubs at different times. Get booked on different shit. I might be in Fort Myers. I might be in Tampa. I'll be at Side Splitters on Sunday. I'm hosting the mic. Do
you have a Twitter or an Instagram people can follow?
I don't do the Twitter because I fucking hate Twitter.
Good for you.
I am on Instagram, but minimally. Hugh_Carey22. I have a TikTok, which I sparingly post on. But yeah, I'm on Facebook. Hugh Carey. I'm pretty much the only one on there. So with that name.
Hey, Rafiq.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So how about this?
So how about this? Are you sure that's the question you want to ask? So how about this?
Well, I mean, so how about this?
All right. Well, let's ask you. So how about this?
How about it, y'all?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Everything we do matters.
Hey, thanks for listening to that episode of So How About This? Whatever you are using to listen, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit whatever extra button they make you push these days. On Twitter, you can find us at So How About This 1. The words are So How About This, followed by the number 1. Leave us some beautiful comments there. Ask us questions. If you want us to talk about something on the podcast, let us know. We'll bring it up while we record, and we'll see you next time.